Ko ngā pito korero o te wā, tonight on Metro News.
Transport options for the future come under the spotlight.
We strap in and ride with car enthusiasts from Ashburton.
And a personal trainer looks at making gyms more inclusive.
Kia ora o tautahi and welcome to Metro News.
A program brought to you by the students of the New Zealand Broadcasting School.
The future of transport in Christchurch is set to change. New technology could see pilotless planes, driverless buses and more electric bikes, all designed to make getting around sustainable. Rennie is covering the story and joins us now. Lachlan.
Speakers at a recent conference are calling for change and they want it now. They cited research from the COVID lockdown showed that carbon emissions were halved with less traffic on the road, proving that if we change the way we get around and go greener, we can make a difference. The jammed up roads of Christchurch today, but in the years ahead they'll look a lot less cluttered.
It's a future that is informed by innovation and it's definitely more sustainable. It's going to be better for our water especially, and I think it's going to be better for our air quality and our health.
One Ōtautahi business is already doing its bit. Shuttle rents and sells electric bikes for urban travel. Its co-founder thinks the change from cars makes sense.
You know, the way that we move around our cities currently is very car dependent. We waste vast amount of energy, time, resource and essentially create a huge amount of pollution and wastage from that.
Shuttles benefited from Waka Kotahi's innovation fund, Hoiki Angatu. The agency is giving a total of $4 million to 22 businesses for creative transport solutions.
You know, we've got some pretty wicked transport challenges that we're trying to solve across New Zealand, and we know that we really need to support the private sector who are going to come up with the great ideas to help us solve some of these.
Innovators shared ideas on changes they think are needed for the transport sector.
New Zealanders spend on average 150 million hours commuting to work every year, and 80% of this time is spent in private vehicles, so this is a huge opportunity.
With the government aiming to reduce 41% of transport emissions by 2035, speakers want people to understand the scale of change coming.
The future transport system is not the current transport system with EVs. It's pivoting to a completely different way to travel, just like how there were mokahi and awa, and then there were horse and carts, and we look back and go, what did they do with all the manure?
As millions and millions of dollars are spent on infrastructure every year, it's important to be thinking for the long term, and to pedal for a better future. Currently, crashes on our roads are costing Kiwis around $4.5 billion every year. And if you think that's high, the research shows that the cost of health problems caused by car emissions is almost double that. With these numbers, experts say we should prioritise sustainability and getting people out of their cars for more eco-friendly ways to travel.
Thank you, Lachlan. You may not realise this, but 23,000 New Zealanders use signing to communicate. In fact, last week was Official Sign Language Week, and Emily O'Hagan visited a family encouraging everyone to give it a go.
They're a bilingual family and proud of it.
Grew up in mainstream school. Lots of deaf support included. She's a full-time mum with 2 children. One hearing who's 3 and a 6-month-old baby who is deaf.
They met when Luke was in his 20s, and that's when she taught him how to sign.
So I met Jenna knowing nothing, and then it's developed from there, and I've been lucky to have a tutor as a partner.
The family uses sign language as their main form of communication.
When Hayley was born, hearing, she exposed her to a lot of sign language as she grew up. It became her natural language.
The bilingual 3-year-old can easily switch up what language she is using.
You showed him flower? Can you do flower?
Flower.
Yeah, flower.
I use my...
And what about I love you?
I love you.
Yeah.
They believe it is important for schools and workplaces to learn sign language.
Yes. That's a must. Learn the basics. Yeah, it's your ABCs, your colours, your days of the week, and just be animated. So it's facial expressions, it's using your hands.
From experience, Luke thinks teaching them young is the way to go.
It was amazing with Hayley at 9 months old, being able to ask for milk, tell us that she was hungry.
For now, the family has one message. And that means Happy Sign Language Week. Emily O'Hagan, Metro News.
Living with a disability may create some barriers when it comes to physical activity. However, a local personal trainer is breaking down these challenges one workout at a time. Bailey-McDowell reports.
From wheelchair rugby to strength and conditioning sessions, Eve Mickle is one of Canterbury's only PTs, making the gym more inclusive.
So there's 1 in 4 New Zealanders living with a disability. That's a quarter of our population. So I think that we as a community need to offer programs and accessibility to sport, fitness, strength and conditioning, recreation, the whole lot, to cater to these people, because it's really just not being met.
This year, she was one of 5 finalists for the local Community Diversity and Inclusion Award, and is adored by those she trains.
It's full on, and you get treated as normal. So you're expected to do the workout just as an able-bodied person. So, and that's adapted to our needs. So she helps us where we need help, and she adapts it when she comes in and has a conversation about what your abilities are. And then if it's not the normal way to do it doesn't work, she'll go, okay, let's try it this way. So it's still hitting that muscle group.
And while Eve's not putting them through group fitness in the gym, she joins them in an on-court workout. And training with Wheel Blacks and their coach, of course, they give no mercy. And for Eve, it's more than just a job.
It's cheesy, but I just love seeing the smiles on people's faces. If we can improve their physical and mental well-being, then that's a win.
And that's exactly what she's doing. Bailey-McDowell, Metro News.
A companion that helps all, from reducing anxiety to increasing happiness. I went along to see how Hatahone St John is connecting four-legged friends with the community. Every Wednesday, Frank and Rosie spend time at an aged care facility, bringing smiles and comfort to those who need it most.
A lot of these aged care people have had dogs in their life, and of course they're not allowed one in their aged care facility. So they appreciate it. A lot of them keep their sausage rolls so they can give Rosie. So Rosie's putting on a bit of weight at this place.
For the last 35 years, the program Therapy Pets has been bringing furry faces to bedsides and classrooms across the motu, reducing anxiety and increasing happiness.
It's been shown, even in some cases, to help the memory of somebody, that's visiting a dog and relaxing, can bring back memories that they hadn't had before.
The program has nearly 400 volunteers nationwide. Here in Ototahi, Christchurch, the group of 50 continues to grow. Time spent with these gentle animals is shown to improve a person's well-being. Sit. And especially for individuals spending a lot of time in unfamiliar environments, having moments with these furry faces can make the world of difference.
Honestly, I think maybe once a volunteer day, somebody will say to me, "Oh, you've just made my day."
The recruitment process is thorough, and it's not just the volunteers getting assessed. Dogs need to be at least a year old, and they too get their share of training.
They need to be kind in nature, and they might have, of course, younger dogs that have a bit more energy, but they need to be obedient.
For Jasper and Rosie, the visits may be focused on treats, sausage rolls and belly rubs, but little do they know their presence is changing lives. Davina Zimmer, Metro News.
E whaiakane coming up next. Calls are growing for more employers to give people with Down syndrome a chance, and we skate down to see how roller derby helps people unwind.
My name is Ruby-Mae and I am the post-production coordinator for Metro News. My role is basically making sure the file management is good, editors are on track with their edit, everything's going at the right speed, that no one's too behind, and that basically at the end of the day that all the stories are exported for the live broadcasts. I arrive, I come and check my handy dandy spreadsheet of what stories are happening today, and I make sure that when the cam ops come back they ingest all their footage properly, it's all in the right place. And then I make the Avid project, put the footage in there so that the editors and the journos can start looking at the footage. I just make sure they're on track to finishing, make sure everything's exported properly and ready for Metro. It's a role that requires a lot of organisation and talking to people, and being nice is a starter, because if you're not nice, people aren't going to approach you and ask for help. Nico and Paul have been so amazing and so awesome. They're so cool. They're like my best friends now. They've told me all I know, and they hang out with me in VT, and good chats. And they're very knowledgeable people, and I respect them a lot.
No mai anō, welcome back. Employers are being encouraged to give people with Down syndrome a chance. While some do get work, many struggle to find a job and then keep it. Sophie Vaughan has been looking into the issue and she joins us now. Sophie?
Yes, so this issue has been ongoing for years now. Advocates believe it's time that employers appreciated workers for their true merit. They say with the national labour shortage, now is the best time to tap into their talents, not just on a temporary basis, but as permanent employees. Ben Marshall has Down syndrome, loves working, but is now without a job.
So Ben was working just 2 hours a week, but loved it. It was going really, really well, and then we had a change of ownership, didn't we? Yeah. And then that meant that they decided they wanted to reduce his hours to once a fortnight.
And for Ben, all he wants is for people to see his potential.
Are you a good worker? You sure are, aren't you? Are you reliable? Do you turn up on time every week? Yes? You do, don't you?
It can be hard for people with Down syndrome to get work. Unfortunately, not all workplaces are willing to see their value.
I suppose it's fair to actually acknowledge that there are employers that do this really well, and I think we need to acknowledge them. Unfortunately, they are in the minority.
These notions are common despite research indicating that people with disabilities stay longer, take less sick leave, and are no more risk to health and safety compared to anyone else. Some businesses in Canterbury know how good these workers are.
She's always keen to do a little bit more. She always wants to go the extra mile for everything. And if somebody's not doing something right, she'll let us know so we can make sure that they are doing it right. So she's awesome.
Charlotte wants to be famous one day, but in the meantime, she's enjoying this job, except for
cleaning toilets.
I knew you were going to say that.
And who wouldn't want to employ people who have a lot to offer the workforce?
So they're just as good at workers as anybody else. Like, they come in, they do their job, they take pride in their job.
I would imagine if you asked any of the customers, the fact that not only did they get big smiles, they frequently also got a hug. So I think he brings certainly a smile to someone's day, and I think that's really, really important. I think that's really valuable for many of us.
Calls are growing for people to change perceptions on just how capable those with Down syndrome can be. There are around 3,000 people with Down syndrome in New Zealand. The advocates say that many of them get work experience, some for years, and don't get paid. So the association says what they want to see is employers giving people with Down syndrome a chance and paying them accordingly.
Thank you, Sophie. A group of university students have started a club to help women in business. Their aim, to create more future entrepreneurs. Hayley Taite-Pitama reports.
They are turning up for a Pilates class, but it's much more than that. A chance for women to network, which is what the club is all about.
Rolling those shoulder blades up off the couch, rolling back down, ever so slowly.
And it's founded on creating community, confidence and capability within our members.
They run many events like this. One of the key goals is getting women to connect, to find out how they can help each other.
It's about building those support networks while you're in university, while you're studying, and then you can draw from those once you get into whatever it is that you're deciding to do. I think there's a really great opportunity to be exposed to things that maybe you wouldn't have the opportunity to be exposed to.
Basically, it's an old boys network, but for women.
Yeah, so we have an exec of 13. The roles on the exec range from events to workshops to social. So yeah, a big range of people, different personalities, which is amazing to work with.
They also run panel discussions with entrepreneurs to inspire members.
Yeah, so we do that just to show our women what is possible in the world. I think it's amazing having progression of women in different careers, showing us their potential.
At first, the club was only made for university students, but now they have extended their wings out to all women in the community to join.
I think the big goal is extending to all of Christchurch and potentially further in New Zealand, yeah.
Those taking part say it's a positive experience.
I enjoyed the Pilates. This is my first time doing it, so getting the opportunity to do it is really rewarding. Being a part of UC Women in Business definitely has enabled me to grow my connections and build friendships.
To help members even further, they are now using mentors, where today's businesswomen will help those of tomorrow. Hayley, Taite-Pitama, MetroNews.
Car racing enthusiasts have taken to the streets of Ashburton once again in the annual Car Sprints. The event has been running for 30 years. Sophie Vaughan finds out why locals keep coming back.
Most of the year, street racing is dangerous and illegal. But here in Ashburton, they have a special day where it's encouraged. The gruntiest, the fastest and the outrageous.
Drivers wise, it's brilliant. We've got a full field. We have the field is 65 cars. They'll get 4 runs and then we come down to 3, start cutting the field in half.
The event, which has been going since 1990, holds a special place in these races' hearts.
It's a special event. It's hard to put into words actually what it is about this event that brings people back.
And competing in the event has passed down the generations.
I'm enjoying watching my lad Ben. He's competing here today in Darcy, printing a cross cart. And he's right at the pointy end of it. So that's the other big reason we're here, to have a look. And it's grouse here.
Second lap.
Having an event like this is vital for people interested in the sport, as it creates a safe, controlled environment for street races.
It's a good course for rookies and even better for experienced drivers who can get around twice in just over 2 minutes.
So you don't have to have the flashiest car and you don't have to have a lot of money to be able to enter and come and have a go and be involved with such a great event with a lot of the faster cars as well. You know, anyone can do it.
We've had 12-year-olds up to 83 was last year, one guy. So it's a broad spectrum of people. And it's just, it's a family environment and it's just a real good, user-friendly event.
With closing off a street, which is getting quite tricky nowadays, it doesn't happen often and people will appreciate that it's happened and they're here doing it, yeah.
With such rich history, it's obvious why Kiwis love competing in this event. Sophie Vaughan, MetroNews.
It's full of crash and bash, but weirdly, they say it's also a good way to unwind. As Tallis Pritchard discovers, roller derby is not for the timid or the faint-hearted.
It's get back up and round again. Skaters from the Dead End Derby Club hoping to roll their way to victory.
I just love it. I just enjoy skating, getting to be part of a team, and it's more than just a team, it's a community.
Popularised in the US, the aim of roller derby is to score points by skating around the rig and avoiding opposition blockers. A good way to unwind.
And it's so good when you've got a really hectic, busy, stressful life to come and work together with your teammates, build each other up, and then go and smash each other in a friendly, competitive way.
It's more than a game, but also a way of connecting.
I moved back here from Australia in 2017 and roller derby was the connection, the way to meet people in Otatahi.
Like many sports teams, COVID took its toll on the Dead Enders.
So right now we're just trying to get everyone to join while we can, so we're doing a lot of recruitment and we're actively training to upskill our skaters.
The team's #1 in New Zealand and has high aspirations.
The end goal for the team, world domination.
But first, they must conquer Aotearoa.
We want to go to Aussie and Europe and travel around the world to compete.
Their next matches in the Southern Smash tournament later this month. Tallis Pritchard, MetroNews.
And now for the weather. It was a sunny day in Ōtautahi, reaching a high of 16. Cantabrians can expect a cloudy evening, going down to an overnight low of 3. Tomorrow will be an overcast day with a high of 14 degrees.
That's all for Metro News tonight.
You can find all these stories and more on our website, metronews.co.nz, or on our socials, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram and TikTok.
We'll be back tomorrow. Ko Sam Coughlan aho.
Ko Davina Zimmer aho. Thank you for joining us. Mate wa o te tahi.